I was on the
That's right. You told me about that. Yeah.
I don't know, good or bad or.
That's what everybody wants to know. What's Christina like? Or, you know, because I'm like, wow, it's James and Sandra Bullock. They start kissing and stuff, and I'm staring at them. Did you ever watch Flip or Flop at all?
Yeah. That's all.
My first day was the day they found the squatter. What's it like getting recognized when you go out to eat?
No, it's like. Hey, Mike, I got a question.
I got the answer.
You guys, this is the first podcast of the Hey, Mike. I got Pando.
Cheers.
Dude.
Right?
Yeah.
It was meant to be.
I guess so. I know. So, okay, we met when I got on the show with Christina on the Coast. Let's just start from the beginning. With you, how did you even get into the TV world?
My first job was this show called Ballroom Boot Camp. And It was 2005.
Who's producing this? But
it was this production company called Original Productions, and they produced Monster Garage with Jesse James. Do you remember that show? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so that was their big claim to fame.
Was his show?
And they also did Deadliest Catch.
Oh, I do. I still like that
show.
Yeah.
And they were a great company, a lot of fun to work for, and they also were just like adventurous. You know, like on Monster Garage, they did a lot of like, you know, helicopter shooting, and you know, they'd blow things up, and it was a lot of fun. I worked on that show too. But after Ballroom Boot Camp, I was an AC, assistant camera, on Monster Garage. So I met Jesse James and Sandra Bullock.
Really?
Yeah. They were one time. We had a camera, and it was set up across the street from the studio, because their studio is actually in Long Beach.
Oh, because she was dating.
They eventually got married, but they were dating at the time.
Yeah. Okay.
And so
such an odd couple, by the way.
Oh my gosh, they really were. But she would show up and she'd be in the background all the time, and they really looked like they were in love. You know, they were newly dating, and they were very affectionate, so to speak.
I mean, they're probably in their 30s at this point, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we had a camera set up for a time lapse on the sunset. And it was on a roof of the building next door. And I went up there to clear it. The sun had dropped, and I went up there to clear the camera off. And while I'm up there, Jesse, James, and Sandra come out of the building, and they're down there, and I'm kind of looking at them, and I'm holding this camera next to me, and I just get locked in kind of a stare, you know, because I'm like, wow, that's Jesse, James, and Sandra Bullock, you know? Yeah. And I'm holding this camera, looking at them. They start kissing and stuff, and I'm staring at them. And all of a sudden, Sandra notices me up on the building, you know? And they look up, and they think I'm a paparazzi.
Oh.
And so they're like, oh, shoot. And they scrambled inside the building. And I was like holding the camera. I'm going, no. It was like a scene out of Seinfeld or something. But it was all good. You know, I didn't get in trouble. I explained who I was, and it was fine. But anyway, so I did Ballroom Boot Camp, and Ballroom Boot Camp was shooting at the same time as this show Dancing with the Stars. You heard of that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So they were shooting at the same time, and we were sometimes in the same studio as them, like dance studios where their contestants were learning to dance.
Yeah.
And so we were kind of running in the same circles, and Ballroom Boot Camp didn't end up becoming a success.
I was gonna say, because I've never heard of it before.
Yeah. And everybody kind of thought this Dancing with the Stars was going to be silly, you know, like celebrities learning to dance, and no one really gave it a shot. But it became a #1 hit over the summer that year, 2005. And some of the crew members that worked on Ballroom Boot Camp went to Dancing with the Stars, and they asked me to come with them, and so I went.
Nice.
Yeah, and so I started on that as a PA. And then moved my way up as I went along my career path. I moved my way up to eventually becoming the producer of the senior producer of the field team, which is the team that follows the celebrities as they learn to do the cha-cha or the waltz or whatever. Well, it was fun though. Like, you know, like that show, we all rehearsed for several seasons in one big warehouse. And so they had a green room with some couches in it, and you just relax in between rehearsals. And like you'd be sitting there talking with just random people, you know, that would come in and out. You know, like Chad Ochocinco was on it, season 10, and he was real talkative. So we'd be sitting in the green room, you'd be talking football with Chad, and then Pamela Anderson would walk through the room, you know, and you'd see all these different personalities in one space, and it was somewhat surreal. But then we all kind of would become like a family, you know?
Yeah.
Because you know they were, you know, it's embarrassing to try and dance in front of someone else, you know. So they're vulnerable, and I think through that, you know, we kind of, you know, there was like we bonded.
So you met a ton of people.
Yes, yeah.
Did any of them help you get to another job or anything like that?
Well, you know, I worked with Ricky Lake, and I got along with her really well, and she was great. She almost brought me onto her talk show. She tried to, but it was a union gig, and in my field, reality TV, it's non-union. So I don't have a union card, so I couldn't go and do the show.
Oh, interesting.
But I'll tell you that the person I liked working with the most on Dancing with the Stars was Ty Murray. I don't know if did you ever watch the show?
Not really. No.
So Ty Murray was married to Jewel.
He was?
Yeah, you know Jewel, the singer, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
He was married to Jewel. They've since divorced, but they lived in Texas, and Ty is a bull rider. And he's just like real like tough cowboy kind of guy. And they were both going to be on the show. So they were both in Texas rehearsing. And Jewel, through the course of rehearsing, she would rehearse so much, you know, like she'd want to rehearse 8 hours. Whereas Ty, he just wanted to do 4 hours a day. And I was with Ty. There was another producer with Jewel. So that I'd be off work, you know, hanging out at the bar.
Yeah.
And he'd still be in rehearsal with Jewel, you know, practicing dance. She was a perfectionist, maybe. To
Yeah,
some degree.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, but she ended up like getting a compound fracture or something like that in her legs because she overexerted herself, so she had to drop out of the show.
So all that practice, and she didn't even get to do it.
She didn't even get to do it. But I really bonded with Ty, and he was great because like he would just come in and he would bang it out, and he was giving us such good material because he was so frustrated. He's this bull rider cowboy. He's having to do, I think the cha-cha was his first dance. I'm not sure, but it wasn't, you know, he was so frustrated, and it was such good TV. Everybody loved him, but we got along really well. And then we were in Texas. I was in Texas for like 3 weeks, and he actually invited me out to his ranch and for a barbecue. And we went out there and we ate, and we went horseback riding, and this guy is one of the great horseback riders of all time. You know, he's given me lessons. And I've ridden a horse before, but I could not do it in front of him at all. Like the horse would not listen to a word I would say. But then once we ate, we went to, this is going to sound surreal, but they had this like little cabin, and we went, built a fire, had beers, and then Jewel busted out her guitar.
No.
Yeah. And she sat there and played all of her hits. It was as though she was playing for thousands of people. It was amazing. Definitely one of the highlights of my career, except, you know, getting to work with you.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. I didn't. That's really cool that he would invite you to his ranch and hang out.
Yeah.
Just from knowing you.
Yeah.
And working together.
Like she did like a blues riff, you know, like improv, and went around the fire and sang about everybody who was there. Got their own verse. Like she's super talented. You know, I didn't know that about her, you know, and like, I don't know if you've, like, she has this, she talks a little bit about how she wrote that song, Who Will Save Your Soul, when she was traveling from Alaska to California. And she told us the whole story. It was like we were at you know, this acoustic MTV unplugged, you know, storyteller, you know, but it was just us. It was cool. It was really cool.
I feel like the singers who write their own stuff, you know, actually produce their own songs.
Yeah.
You have to be brilliant.
Yes.
You know, because you not only have to have a great voice, but you have to be a good writer.
Yeah.
And the way you write it has to be poetic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it's really difficult.
Yeah. And she did have a great voice. Like she's really talented singer. But anyways, we don't need to go on about Jewel. Hopefully you're watching this, Jewel, and you remember Pando. And just want to say thanks for the wonderful private concert you gave us.
Yeah. It stuck with him, as you can tell.
Yeah, she probably doesn't remember.
She's like, who is this guy talking about me right now? I don't
remember him.
Understand.
Yeah, he's lying. He's lying.
So then you're working on Dance with the Stars, but I heard that I've heard stories that you were working on some kind of cop show as well.
Yes, yeah. I had two types of shows I'd work on: dancing shows and cop shows. You know, it's like I would work on Dancing with the Stars, and then over the summer I'd have to find a new gig, and it was either a cop show or another dancing show. Like
Really?
I did this MTV Top Pop Group, which was a singing dancing show. I did Grease, You're the One That I Want, which was a competition show to be the next Danny or Sandy. And then I'd do cop shows. And I'd follow the police around with a camera because I could shoot. And we would just mic them up ourselves. We wouldn't even have an audio guy. So, God, I can't. It was this like show. It was about the wildlife cops in Florida.
So not like the cops episodes that you see right now.
No.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of the show. It was so long ago. But it was wildlife, FCC wildlife cops or something like that. It was a Florida... it was the wildlife cops in Florida. So like I was there for 2 months in Florida. Just
in Florida, were you in the cop car or were you in the back?
I was in the cop car. I usually I'd sit in the front seat.
Okay.
And like, man, I have to tell you, like, you've seen those cop shows.
Yeah.
Man, we got early on when I first started. You know, I was always like, man, I want to get in a chase. And sure enough, we pull up on these guys that look suspicious, and the cops get out and they start asking questions. I'm in the back seat now at this point because there were 2 cops, and I'm in the back seat, and all of a sudden he's running, and I got to jump out of the car, hit record, and then I have to chase this perpetrator down the street with these cops. And I have to tell you something. It is so hard to do. You know, in this particular instance, I had sound equipment on me. So it's just like big brick on the side of my hip. And then I'm carrying this camera and I'm trying to hold it still as I'm running. And like one of the cops tripped and fell as we were running. And I was so thankful because I could catch up, you know, because I was trying to get out of the car and they're just trying to catch this dude.
Yeah.
And the other cop was gone. And so we followed this one cop, and we were going through people's yards. We had gone, I don't even know where we were. And I'll have to tell you something. When you watch it on TV, you don't feel like the cop's in danger. You feel like, is he going to find the guy? You know?
Yeah.
But when you're there, you feel like there's a lot of danger. You know, like I was afraid for my life. You know, it was dark. There was, the cop kept losing me. Dogs were barking, and we could see the other cop way in the distance, like trying to catch the guy who had run, but he got away. He didn't catch him. But it was a lot of fun, man. I really enjoyed working on those shows.
I can just picture you now running down a field, huge.
Yeah.
You know, at that point, probably like a really big camera.
It was like
over the shoulder.
It didn't go on my shoulder.
Oh, okay.
But it was pretty big. Like, I don't know if you remember the cameras used to kind of angle up a little bit, some like those.
With the little eyeball lens kind of thing, like that?
Like it was a tape that you'd put in with like those small little tapes.
Oh, yeah.
And
the high 8s or something like that?
Yeah. Well, no, not high 8. It was a mini DV is what it's
called.
Oh,
okay.
But yeah, so it would like angle up. So it was big and it was heavy.
Okay.
I mean, but it wasn't as heavy as that one on the shoulder. The shoulder probably would have been easier because I could have rested on my shoulder. Like my arms were burning trying to hold this as I'm running. You know?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm trying to film the cop as he's running. And then sometimes you'd be like, I'm just going to run because he's losing me. I couldn't run as fast as.
So you're not even getting the footage at that point. It's just like the ground.
Just the ground. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, we got into all sorts of problems. It was fun. I went in with the SWAT team.
Really?
On a raid. They were delivering a warrant on this guy, and they said he was armed. And I'm in the footage. This one was called Fugitive Strike Force. Was the name of the show. It was on Discovery, I think.
So are they putting you in like a bulletproof vest? They are.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd wear a bulletproof vest to work every day. Not with the wildlife cops.
But with this one.
With this one, yeah, because that was really dangerous.
So, I mean, at that point, are they making you sign these like waivers that are saying?
No,
hey,
they didn't, but they should have, right?
What?
I know. I don't remember. Maybe they did.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I don't know. I was so new. I was just so happy to be working, and it was fun. I was wearing a bulletproof vest to work every day.
Right.
I felt like a cop.
Yeah.
They kind of treat you like you were one too.
Well, yeah, because at that point, I mean, you're with them.
Yeah.
Following them around, doing whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at those cop shows and I see those guys, and they'll be one in one crew, one on the other. So sometimes you'll be able to see them filming the cop.
Yes. Yeah.
And they're same thing, bulletproof vests.
Yeah.
Some of them look like they're in shape, like they've been running around.
Well, I had worked out for the one,
Just
when I got in the chase.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and as I'm running, I'm going, that didn't help at all. It doesn't feel like it helped at all. I was
preparing
exhausted.
yourself for it?
Yeah, I was running on the treadmill at the hotel.
Did you have the camera in your hand while you're running?
No, I should have done that.
See, there you go.
I blew it.
That's where it all went south.
Yeah, I know.
So okay, so then you go from that cop show, then you go into Flip or Flop,
So,
or you have other things in between there.
the last show I did before Flip or Flop was Dancing with the Stars, and Dancing with the Stars ends right around Thanksgiving, and then they have another season in the spring, and it ends in May, and Flip or Flop was starting in June. And so I had worked with the production company Pytown, which is who produces Flip or Flop.
Okay.
I had worked on House Hunters.
Before.
Yeah, before, yeah.
Okay.
So I kind of knew them, and so when I found out that they were producing the show, I reached out and they hired me. Did you ever watch Flip or Flop at all?
Yeah.
My first day was the day they found the squatter. It's one of the more famous episodes where they walk in and someone's asleep in the back room. They had broken into the house and they had been drinking all night and they were in there passed out. And Tark and Christina walked into the room, saw them there, and then took off and ran out. And then the person, when they noticed that
they got up and left.
They got up and left. Yeah. That was my first day, and I was just kind of watching, and I was like, man, what have I gotten myself into?
Yeah. You're like, what kind of show is this?
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, it seems dangerous. Is this a cop show? We needed to call the cops.
Yeah, I need a bulletproof vest, please.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my first day. But I have to tell you, like working for Pytown was so wonderful because I had 2 kids. I gotten divorced. I was a single dad, and I had them 50% of the time. And Pytown like really values their employees' personal lives. They don't make you work on the weekends unless it's absolutely necessary. You only work 40 hours a week. Like normally in production, you're working 12, 16-hour days, sometimes 7 days a week. Most of the times, 6 days a week. Like it's just, they really, really overwork you. And it's hard if you have kids.
Yeah.
So this was an opportunity to have a personal life and a family life, and so I really welcomed the chance, and I stayed with them until they were done. Yeah. So it ended in 2021, I think, or 2022.
So Flip or Flop, I mean, you must have been with them for like 7-8 years.
2013 to 21. Yeah.
Mike, you got your start with on television with Pytown as well, right?
Yeah.
I remember working with you on a House Hunters show.
Yeah,
that's how we met.
That was my first, I guess, stardom into reality TV.
Is that how you got on Christina on the Coast?
Yeah.
What was it like for you the first?
For me, it wasn't great. I mean, the first episode I did was for House Hunters renovation, and the project took a really long time. I'm not going to say the location, but just the owner of the property made it very, very difficult to finish the project. We were getting in trouble by the city because he would do stuff that he wasn't supposed to, and it was making it impossible to film there because we couldn't get to the next step. So I remember being on like multiple conference calls with Pytown, and they're like, can you do anything? Can you talk to him? Can you get this moving again?
Yeah.
I mean, most of our timelines are maybe like 2-3 months.
Yes.
And then you want to be out.
Yeah.
18 months.
18 months.
18 months.
Wow.
By the time like we had been done and finished, it was forever.
Wow.
So the blessing was that I got to meet a lot of people within Pytown just because I had.
Was it just that one show you worked on? But it was 18 months.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, it was just one of those things we could not get it finished. So I ended up having to put a lien to push the guy to finish. And
you did?
That's how Pytown was able to finish the episode out. And when that happened,
did they know you did that to get it?
Yeah. No, I told them. I mean, it was, they were like, what can you do? Like, what can you do to motivate this guy to get it finished? So we did, and we got done. And then Pytown was like, hey, would you ever want to do anything else in like reality TV? Let us know. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Because it wasn't like a great experience, on the construction side. It was fun filming, but the other business side of it, I was not feeling.
Yeah.
And then, a couple of months went by and I got a call, from them about Christina on the Coast.
Yeah.
And they're like, can you come and help us with a couple houses? And I was like, yeah, sure. But they're like, but we need you like in 2 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. And so that was in season 1.
Wow. Yeah. I remember when you came on and you being pretty green for being on camera.
Yeah.
I mean,
green. Like,
yeah,
is
green.
that, I don't know, good or bad or?
Well, I mean, you weren't as comfortable on camera.
Oh, no.
As
no,
you are now.
Yeah.
Or even as you were, a few months into it.
For sure. Yeah.
How was it? And what was it like for you?
I think it's surreal at the beginning. It's kind of weird. And I think the biggest problem for new people that get on camera is you're not yourself.
Yeah.
You have this sense that, I need to be different. Because if I'm my normal self, it's not going to come off as good.
Yeah.
And it's like you overproduce yourself. I felt that's what happened. You hold back, you're not relaxed. And next thing you know, you're like, hey, like you got to relax. You got to calm down. It's like, I don't know how to because you got the cameras in my face and you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed when you first started on the show that we would have a conversation and you were different. In that conversation than when you got in front of the camera. It did seem like you tensed up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably the best way to explain it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I hopefully through the seasons they got better, but
yeah, of course, yeah.
I think it's different now. Especially when you do your own thing, it makes it a lot easier.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I will say, as someone that worked as a camera operator, and I worked with Mike on House Hunter renovations. I saw something special.
Oh, there you go.
I love this guy.
Because when Pytown was like, hey, we're going to work with MTR, I was like, I know that construction company. I worked with them on House Hunter renovations.
You know what that deserves?
Man, Will's getting
that deserves a round of applause.
Yeah.
Let's get a round of applause.
Oh my goodness.
Will.
There we go. Hey, all right. Hey,
good job. Good job. Yeah, we got that little sampler board up
I know.
there, So anytime you tell a joke, we can get a little bit of a laughter.
Shit.
We're funny. We're funny guys here.
There's a guy laughing a lot there in the back. All right. Okay. Thank you. You know what, Will? Let's bust a beat right now.
Are you dumb, stupid, or dumb?
This is a cha-cha.
Yeah.
I know that from Dancing with the Stars.
Are you dumb, stupid, or dumb? Oh my God. I don't know why.
Mike, what was your experience when you first saw yourself on television? Like,
well, funny part, that wasn't the first time I saw myself in television because I was on Young and the Restless.
That's right. You told me about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was.
Tell us what your part was.
I helped out in they would go to the bar. There would be like a bar scene, and there was like background extra work for that. And so I was like a regular on
Young and the Restless.
On Young and the Restless. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was fun, but I mean, I was in my early 20s and I was just looking for anything. I didn't necessarily want to be an actor. I wanted to get into more of like print work. And that was what got me into Young and the Restless. I had just a little bit of luck with Levi's, doing some like Levi work. And then,
man, we wish we could pull that up. Do you have that anywhere? We got a TV monitor here.
I know. What's funny is I've kind of looked, well, not me, but my kids and my wife have like tried to look up some of this stuff. The problem is it's you have to know like what episode to look for,
right.
What time frame. It just gets really, really challenging. So we've never found any.
You didn't record any of it.
Well, this is what's so funny. My parents actually did record a lot of it, and then I don't know if you remember, but in like the early 2000s, the Angels went to the World Series.
Yes, yeah.
Well, my parents used that tape
to
record the World Series, and so
it got recorded over.
Yeah,
all of it.
Yeah, all of it.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I know. They just pop that puppy in and hit record.
We need to record this. And how often do you think they've watched the World Series?
I don't think they've ever looked at that one time.
Yeah, like who does that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's go watch them when the Angels beat. Who'd they beat? San Francisco.
I don't know. I mean, that was That was a
San
big year for
Francisco?
them.
They beat the Giants.
The Giants, yeah.
Is that, did they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was the
okay.
rally
That was a
monkey.
heartbreak for me. That was my team. So.
Will's from the Bay. So, what's it like getting recognized when you go out to eat?
No, it like barely happens.
Really?
Yeah, no. It's so funny because around here, no one ever says anything. Like, even friends, you know, there's only a few friends that will be like, "Oh, it's funny, I saw you on TV." But we have been to Mexico a few times, and when we're outside of the country, that is when someone will be like, "Oh, you're from Christina on the Coast."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh yeah, wow, you recognize me?" And they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm such a big fan." That's only happened twice.
It's only happened twice.
Yeah, it's only happened twice, and then it like around here, it's only happened a few times where someone has like been passing and be like, "Oh, I know you. Where do
Okay,
I know
yeah.
you from?" I'm like, "I don't know," and they'll be like,
You
"Oh,
don't go, well, I am on TV.
yeah, excuse me." But no, I'm always curious to see how they know me because you know, who knows? I mean, it could have been from House Hunters or Christian on the Coast, and
Have you ever signed an autograph?
never.
You haven't?
No. I know.
Give me a pen, Will. Give
I
me
know,
a pen. Let's
I
have him
know.
sign an autograph right now.
I know. I'm waiting. You know, hey, someone, come on. You know.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll happen. It'll happen eventually.
I don't know. We'll see.
If this gets some views.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we need this to get a couple million views, and then maybe this might happen.
Yeah. Like, what's Christina like?
Well-
That's what everybody wants to know. What's Christina like?
She's very nice.
Yeah.
I mean, she's nice. She's actually more shy, I think, or at least when I first met her.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, she was very nice. I mean, the very first time I met her, you know, it was the first time we filmed at Christina on the Coast, and then I feel like we, you know, got closer because we had kids around the same age.
Yeah.
And
You hung out with her quite a bit, right?
We did.
You
Yeah,
and- Now, did you hang out with Aunt too when she was with Aunt, or were you more like after the divorce?
no, both.
Both, yeah.
Yeah. When she met Aunt, I guess that was like towards she wasn't with Aunt yet when we first met.
I think season 1 was where they're
right.
they're moving into the house. So
That's it.
So
yeah.
she would have met him.
Yeah, that was the first time I think I had been to her house was at the premiere party.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And
Yeah,
that was probably the first time I met
Yeah,
Aunt
yeah.
for the first time. Yeah.
yeah, because they were looking for that house. So
Yeah. Which was an awesome house.
Yeah.
That house had a huge backyard.
yeah, it was huge. And they renovated that on camera.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt the same way about Christina. Like, I think, like, going into Flip or Flop, you know, I wasn't quite sure, you know, what she was going to be like, you know, because I just watched some of the episodes.
Yeah.
But she was so friendly, you know, and so down to earth, you know. I really felt, you know, when I first met her, and it was kind of a breath of fresh air, you know, because you sometimes, you know, people like that, you know, the fame goes to their head, but she didn't seem that way at all. She was very down to earth.
Yeah.
When Christina on the Coast became a success, you were part of season 1, and it started to become a success. Like, how was that experience for you? Like, I mean, there was a time it really seemed like it was, would you say, magical? I mean, I kind of felt that way. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was a good show. I thought you guys did a good job producing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, had a lot of fun on it, and it definitely helped business. I definitely took advantages of the workload and the people that would call in. I think it kind of ran its course, in my opinion.
Yeah.
For me.
But yeah, it was fun. I mean, like, there was a period of time where I really felt like, wow, this is definitely the highlight of my career.
Yeah, I mean, just the people I met. I mean, you, Greg, MJ,
Yeah.
Alex, Will, I mean, Greg, Mike. I mean, like, just so many people.
Yeah.
You know, that I enjoyed working with Dalton. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, that crew, like, every time going to work, Autumn would always be like, "Man, you're just so happy." I'm like, "I know. I gotta go film today and hang out." You know, like,
Yeah.
the filming part was just like, "Oh, we got to get that out of the way."
Yeah.
And then we just gotta hang out for a little bit.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. It was a lot of goofing off.
There was a lot,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I know would drive you crazy sometimes.
yeah.
You're like, "All right, guys, like, okay, let's
Yeah.
everyone settle down. Like,
Yeah.
we got to get back
We
to
got
work.
work to do here.
Yeah.
You know? I was probably the biggest culprit, though, of getting us off track, though, with you know, killing time, making jokes, having fun. You know, I feel like that's much more. I wouldn't say it's more important, but it's an important part of the job. You know, because people want to be happy, they want to have a
Yeah.
good time, and I don't want to go to work doing something that, you know, is is boring or
No,
you
yeah.
know, not fun.
Yeah. I mean, when you'd bring the tequila shots out, that was like my favorite part.
So, all right. So let me ask you this. Okay. So, are you no longer doing Christina on the Coast? Like, what's up with that?
No, I went up to season 4, which was really kind of like 5 seasons because you have to remember COVID.
Yes.
We kind of broke into
Yeah.
2 seasons.
Right.
Even though it was season 2.
Yeah.
So it just stretched out. So it was like 6 years or something.
Did you do anything for Tennessee?
No.
You didn't? Okay.
No, I was never part of Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And for those of you out there that don't know, when Christina and Tarek ended Flip or Flop, essentially they went their separate ways, and I ended up going off and doing my own thing.
Yep.
So I didn't continue on with the new seasons, which you did.
Yeah. So I think you kind of stepped out in end of season 3.
Yeah.
Right. And then in season 4, I think that was the year that they kind of broke away from Pytown.
Yes, the production company.
Yeah, the production company. So after I finished that season of season 4, that was when I decided I think it was probably a good time to leave.
Yeah, I got to imagine it's a lot of work to run a company and then also be on camera, because it's not like it's your show. You're having to answer to
Right. Yeah.
what's going on with them.
Yeah, I think for me it was just I wanted to focus more on my business side, and I was realizing that was taking a lot of my time, and you have to kind of look at balance. And for me, it just wasn't enough balance, and I didn't want it to affect my business, and that's what it was kind of doing. And so it was easier for me to step away, and just kind of focus. And now it's great because it gave me a chance to set this up.
Yes. Yeah.
Because this took like almost a year to kind of get together. So I'm so happy.
Good.
Yeah. Ended up being the greatest thing.
And be honest, when I left, the show couldn't have been as much fun, right?
No. I mean, it was totally different. I mean, it was.
You still had a lot of the same people there, so it must have still been like family.
Yeah, but the culture was different. Culture was different, and people kept there was a lot of change.
Yeah.
Within that whole year.
Sure.
And so
trying to figure out a new flow.
Yeah, exactly. Just new people kind of coming and going and trying out, and some people didn't flow over to the new production company, and so it just felt different the whole season.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, this is, it's kind of time.
Yeah.
For me.
So they're currently in production right now, and you're not on that.
No. I think they're probably done with season 5 right now.
Dude, I saw something that's about to air.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know when this is going to come out, but maybe by the time this comes out,
maybe around the same time. Maybe we'll release it on the same day.
That'd be a good idea. Yeah. Get a little piggyback.
Yeah, there you go.
Piggyback off of them. So what is it? Why did you build this? Tell us a little bit about what we have here.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, we built this podcast studio,
which is awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Impressed.
Yeah. So
I had nothing to do with the building in this. I came on after this was built. We helped a little bit.
Yeah.
Like decorated and
decorate, help set up
the cameras up.
Yeah, the lighting. Even Greg came over, helped us.
Yep.
We got a picture of that.
Camera guy from Flip or Flop and Christina on the Coast.
Yeah. Awesome, dude.
DP. And he likes to be called a DP.
Oh,
Sorry,
DP.
Greg.
Yeah.
Sorry, Greg.
Yeah. DP. That's
double penetration. Can I get a laugh?
Oh my god!
Thank you.
I hope we keep that one in.
I'll be here every Friday.
I hope we keep that in. I love that it just keeps going. It's not like a one laugh and then it ends. It's like
right. I don't know if we can use that or not. Maybe we'll try. But it's director of photography.
Got it.
DP.
Okay. Director of photography. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we put this together, and I think originally when I first started this, it was the idea was like bring awareness or educational purposes, just because I feel like the industry like construction industry, as a whole, just has a bad rap, and for probably really good reasons. Yeah, a lot of people tend to lie, take advantage of people. They're not honest, or they're just really not good at being business people. And there's a balance. You have to be good at your craft, and so I wanted to show people there are good people.
That's great
out there, and I wanted to bring them on and talk. And because I've, I guess kind of push out my knowledge of what I know, and maybe that could help people, business wise, contractor wise, anything.
So bring awareness to the general public.
Yeah.
What goes on somewhat behind the scenes of your industry.
Totally.
Yeah.
I want to, you know, who I liked is Mike Holmes.
So who's Mike Holmes?
Mike Holmes, he's this guy who, he had his own television show on DIY Network. And I think he was from Canada. And he basically came in with people that maybe got screwed over by a contractor, or something happened and the guy left, and he came in and basically his thing was, I'll make it right.
Oh, okay.
So everything, and then he would kind of walk you through what they did, and then what he's going to do to fix it.
Right.
And I was like, man, it's just, to me, but what he was doing is what I do all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not fixing people's mistakes, more or less, but we go in and we just constantly are trying to make it right. Like I don't, like I'm not there to just make a buck, you know, like I actually want to leave it knowing like this thing's going to last for a long time.
Yeah.
And so I just like the show, and I'm like, oh, that I would love to do a show like that. And I'm like, well, I don't want to just do the same thing. So this time, instead, I would like a podcast where homeowners could listen and be like, okay, I'm going to bring in people that are professional in their trade.
Yeah.
And since I know background, at least I can tell them or ask them questions that maybe a homeowner wouldn't even think to ask, that maybe they can get something out of it. That's kind of how it started. And I just really enjoy talking to people, especially about, you know, the industry. Yeah,
I think it's great. And I think people will love to watch stuff like that. There is a sense, you know, there's a sense of the unknown when you're trying to have your home renovated and you're talking to contractors. Like, you don't know if they're being honest with you, if what they're telling you is correct. It's like going into a Jiffy Lube, you know, and they're like, yeah, you got to have this engine additive, you know, and you're like, God, do I really need that, you know? And I think that you can bring awareness to let people know what they really do need to have done, you know, because I think people don't necessarily want to cut corners, but they don't want to do extra stuff. And sometimes they view things that they should do as extra.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah. Or they see something on TV and they think that that's reality.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and I'm a corporate of that, you know, being in that same situation. And so I want to just kind of tell people like, no, it's like things are different, and they're different in every city. It's not just like across the board it's going to be the same. Yeah. You know, codes are different, zoning laws are different, contractors are different, the way things are handled, you know what I mean? So you can't just be like, oh, I have a friend who lives up north and they got their house done at this, and I want to do the same thing. Why is my price a different price? It's like, well, there's a lot of variables in it. Yeah. And I just want to help explain that, you know?
Yeah. And I think like one of the things that, as a homeowner myself, I always feel like when I'm talking to a contractor that everything's negotiable. And I like that for you, for the most part, things aren't negotiable. You're just giving your prices, how much it's going to cost.
Yeah, I mean, you know, of course, there'll be times where we have to work with people on certain things. But yeah, for the most part, you know, my numbers are kind of a fixed number. I mean, we have our margins that are profits and overheads, and then there's a cost for us to actually do the work. Yeah. And that's it. It's like, it's that simple. But at the same time, who you hire and depending on who they're employing and they're bringing on, that's the big difference. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. And I think like along with this podcast and bringing that awareness, we're also going to be producing some videos on renovations. We call it the Behind the Walls. Yep. And we've got a house in Newport right now that's $1 million makeover. Yep. So I'm excited about that one. We're going to do several videos on that. And San Pedro was ADU with a view. Yep. And yeah, so I'm excited about bringing some of that kind of Flip or Flop, Christina on the Coast type television to your channel as well.
Dude, I'm so excited because the Behind the Wall thing is different than the podcast, because it's going to show people in real time, like what the challenges that we have, and some of the things that, you know, people need to look out for when they're actually renovating their home.
Yeah, and the process too. You know?
The process, yeah.
It's not going to we're not going to dive into drama with you and Autumn getting a divorce or anything. Not that you are getting divorced.
No. Yeah. Oh gosh,
Referring
let's
Flip or
not
Flop.
let's not start this rumor. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. Yeah.
But we won't get into that stuff. It'll be more just,
Yeah.
work related, process related. Here's the space, and now we're gonna do a bunch of this stuff to it, see it happen, and then we'll come back and go over some of the problems. Which, by the way, we got a lot of problems going on in Newport.
We do.
Yeah,
I know.
The AC wants to move that to the other side of the house.
Yeah. I think that's the misconception. People assume that you're just never going to have problems, or problems are just something that bad contractors have happened. But I mean, the reality is that the problems are going to show up, and there's going to be mistakes, and there's going to be things missed and errors done. But I always tell people, the good contractors just know how to handle those issues. Yeah, that's the difference. Mm-hmm. Other ones will be like, no, that's your problem. It's not my problem. And that's what you don't want to happen. Yeah. Oh, and the artwork.
Yes.
the Hey Mike artwork, which I got to give a shout out. So this is Jeff McMillan, who actually was a client of ours a long time ago, and he does artwork for Stant Socks and Ruka, and he's basically a cartoon artist. And he helped us come up with that logo.
Yeah, it's a great job.
With among other things, we got the shirts. Yeah.
I got one on order.
You got one on? I know. Yeah. Hey, so if you want a Hey Mike shirt,
get a little merch.
Yeah, we'll put a link below, and you'll be able to see what other stuff we got going on.
Yeah, some Hey Mike merch.
Yeah, exactly.
I really like it. I like the whole vibe you got going. With the Hey Mike is a catchphrase. Where we all have a question about our homes. And I think that all of the things that we're doing, whether it's the podcast, the Instagram Hey Mike series, or the Behind the Walls, you kind of get a little, hopefully, everybody out watching will get some of their questions answered.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. It's so funny because I feel like the Hey Mike started with the show because it was like, hey Mike, what's going on? Yeah. Hey Mike, what's going on? You know what I mean? Or we would be on set and be like, so, all right. So Mike, like what issues do we have?
Yeah. So when you heard Hey Mike, it wasn't like, hey Mike, you want a water or something?
No,
it was
more, it was like, oh gosh, all right, so
there's a problem.
And then I think I had a few people that would come up and be like, hey Mike, you got a problem, so many people that I knew would come up to me, and that
on
was
the
like,
show, like behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, or just friends that watch the show.
Yeah.
Because most of the time I would say, oh, hey, Christina, we have a problem,
Right. Nice and calm.
Yeah, just, relaxed. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
It's like $10,000. No big deal.
You actually worked on Christina's house.
I did.
Did that make it onto the show?
Yeah, I think so. I did.
Okay.
I think I've worked on almost the last 3 homes that she's had, we worked on. I don't know how many of them made the show. I know one for sure.
Man, she likes to move a lot.
She does like to move a lot. Yeah, I know.
Sounds like fun though. I mean, I hate moving, but getting to live in different houses seems like fun.
I would rather just buy a home, fix it up, but never live there. Yeah. And then sell it.
There you go.
Than to be the one living there, going through the renovation.
Yeah. Then
2 years later, sell it, start over. Just live somewhere, then renovate your houses, and
Right.
That's 2 each around.
Cool.
I think we got it. Should we do the closeout?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
What's the closeout going to be? We have a special closeout, or
I don't know.
Maybe just a goodbye.
All right. So if you like this podcast, you like what we're talking about, you want to see more of it, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave us a comment, tell us how much you like this thing.
Pando, or tell us what we could do to improve it.
Please. Yeah. If you want to see different content, leave it there too.
Yeah.
We'll see it. Pando, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
We're going to see you on the next podcast again back there.
Yeah. My little cave. Thank you, everybody.
See you later.
Hey, Mike.